Blissful Badger. In the last 3 weeks, I've been hesitating on some of my hobby stuff. And hobby hesitation is a real thing, but the real question is it actually bad? Is hobby hesitation actually a bad thing? So we're going to walk through what I've done in the last 3 weeks while I've been hesitating on a project, and we're going to come up with an answer at the end of this. Let's see what I've been doing. All right, 3 weeks ago, I did a video about all of the focus and motivation that I've had for my terrain. And at the end of that time, I was really burnt out working with the terrain, and I knew I needed to do a wash on these models. That was one of the steps that was still left, and if you look, I still haven't done it. I had considered doing an oil wash on these, but then I realized maybe I just wanted to do an acrylic wash, and then I couldn't decide between acrylic or oil. And the weather was bad, so I didn't go outside to do any of it, and they've been sitting in these containers since. In the meantime, though, I've gone and gotten a lot of other projects either started or worked on or any of the other things. So, one of the things I've done a lot of is building quite a few of the models that I've had sitting around for Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress and some Space Marines and a whole bunch of Skaven. I've gotten them outside, I've gotten them primed, and these ones are ready for magnetization. So, definitely some productivity, but not that terrain stuff. This is actually all ready to go and get painted. If you have an idea for a color scheme, let me know. I want to do something similar to the muted color palette for Cursed City, but I want to use some different colors for this one. I've liked so far having that dozen paints or less for everything. I think it'll look real good for that scheme. But again, I'm hesitating on that, and that's why I'm thinking about this. I've also reprimed some of my knights and gotten some more pieces cleaned up. I've even started painting them. Ooh, I have a color scheme in mind. And they're starting to get painted. But that still hasn't had a wash on it. I purchased and started building my bolt action armies. Again, I have a start on these, but I still have a long way to go before I even get them to priming. Again, that was the thing that I've been hesitating on. I even took a day off and painted some stormtroopers. They're still not done, but again, that was a day that wasn't used for that terrain. And then I even got into my Middle-earth strategy battle game. These started off primed at the beginning of this month, and they're already painted, and they have an oil wash on them. Yeah, I went out and I oil washed my Uruk-hai, and I still haven't done the terrain. So that hesitation, it's been keeping me back from that. What am I going to do about that? Well, as you're watching this on release day, I'm building 100 abyssal dwarves for a new army. So, yep. My Twitch followers have hit 100, so I'm building 100 dwarves in a single day. But at the same time, I have these little tanks for Battletech. And I've already painted 7 of them. And I have 12 more that are ready to get painted. I even have a color scheme in mind. Again, why am I getting time in to paint these models, and yet I'm not doing the oil wash over here? So yeah, does hobby hesitation equal a bad thing? Well, I'm going to say, so long as you're doing something else in the hobby, no, it's not at all bad. Just because these are still sitting in a container, not completed, doesn't mean you can't work on something else. The problem comes to, if I was hesitating on this and not doing anything else, this could have been still sitting here, me trying to force the decision between oils and acrylics for the wash, and none of this other stuff could have been done. So again, I don't find hobby hesitation a bad thing, so long as you're willing to go into a different project while you're waiting. So now the question has to be asked. Did I decide whether I'm going to do an oil wash or an acrylic wash on that terrain? And the answer is, I have decided I'm going to go acrylics. So it might have taken me 3 weeks of indecision and hesitation, but I do have an idea now, and I've gotten quite a bit done while I've been waiting. Sometimes the project doesn't call for being done yet. I have several that still need basing, or, I stopped painting halfway through, or I have it ready for painting, but I haven't actually done it yet. They're all different steps to the same hobby, and so long as you're willing to let one simmer while you're trying to decide, that hesitation isn't actually that bad. So the question I have for you, what's that project that's been holding you back? You don't know what you want to do. Let me know what it is, and maybe I can help you work through that process. For me, I'm going to go get that acrylic wash on those models, because I feel like it's about time for that. The Boarding Actions terrain is complete. One huge project marked off the list. On to the next. This is a great feeling. And hey, while I was at it, might as well do the OSL on the lights. Yeah. This has a nice look to it. Models going through these halls are going to look amazing. Oh yeah. Now to just play. Subscribe if you haven't, so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.